Okay. So clearing the configuration is almost like it's a simple process. It's not complicated. Just we need to connect to the target mission. And one more thing, today I changed the colors for all the missions. Say for example, this green color is the source mission as usual, and blue color is the target mission, that is as usual earlier. And this is the additional session which I opened for source mission. Basically, which here we are going to execute any extra work other than Golden Gate, so that any verification or anything we used to do on this session. And this is the blue color. Just it is for target mission. The reason why I given this colors is just to make it more clarity. This is a slight green color which is representing to the source mission, and this is for the target. Okay, so apart from that, rest everything is same. And I have already configuration in place in my system, so I'm going to clear it up now. Okay, say I have already configuration in place. Just 1 second, I'm configuring the Git configuration. Record is in process. So I will start with my target configuration. So the main steps involved are like we need to check what are the existing replicate processes available over there, and we need to delete them. So the simple process for deleting the replicate is delete replicate and replicate name. I mentioned wrongly over here. This is a replicate. Okay, and once that replicate is dropped, this is for initial load, and the second one is for dropping the main replicate that is used for synchronizing the current load. This is the second one, and delete the replicate that's specific. And third one is the dropping the checkpoint, because the replicate uses checkpoints, so we need to drop those checkpoints. Fourth one is we need to delete any trail files which are being accumulated as a part of previous configuration. So once it is completed, then again we are going to clear the target tables. I mean, these are the table. These are the steps which we are going to do in general. Based on your configuration, you may need to skip some steps according to your situation. So generally, these are the steps which I used to perform for today's activity. So in the source mission, again, if there are any initial load extracts, I am going to drop them. And after that, if there is any existing extract running, I am going to stop them. And third one, I am going to delete that extract as well. Fourth one, any trial files and any checkpoint files. Checkpoint files will be deleted automatically. Just we need to ensure that nothing left out over there. So these are the main steps which we are going to do today. Let me show you. So blue session is target mission. Just I'm connecting to target mission. DB login, user ID GG user, password GG user, info all. There are currently 2 replicates are running. Just I was doing something other things. So just these are the things which are already present. So I need to drop them. Actually, this step is not required for time being. I'm going to explain why as and when it comes situation. This replicate is the replicate which we used as a part of initial load. Generally, what happens is the replicate as well as extracts which we use as a part of initial load, those won't be reflected in the info all command, because those replicates just being configured for specific initial load purpose only. So generally that will not be available in info all command. So for that we need to use some different command to get the names of those replicate commands, replicate or extract commands. That is info extract star.task as well as info replicate star.task. So when you use this command, you can able to see those specific tasks. I mean specific replicates or extract processes. For a general command, info all command, you cannot able to see them. So that is the reason we will use this first step. Currently, I don't have any initial load replicates on this mission, so the first step is not applicable on the target mission. And second step is I'm going to stop the replicate over here. Currently, replicate is running. This one is running, so I'm stopping that. So replicate has been stopped, so nothing is running. Third one is delete the replicates. Delete replicate name. Okay, so only manager is running. So this is completed. Next step is we need to delete the checkpoint information. So info checkpoint table. So currently checkpoint has been created in this location, GG user schema and US checkpoint table. So just I'm going to cross check from the database as well. Select star from tab. So checkpoint table is available over here. Okay, so now I'm going to drop. This is delete checkpoint table. So no need to specify the table name because it's already been specified in global file. Okay, so checkpoint has been deleted. Info checkpoint table. Checkpoint table doesn't exist now. So this is about the target mission. And the next step is I'm going to clear the existing data on the SCOT schema. Select star from EMP, not star, tab. So 4 tables are there. In that I'm going to perform a change synchronization as well as initial load for 2 tables. One is the DEPT, another one is the employee table. So I'm going to truncate both the tables. Delete employee, delete DEPT. So nothing left on this machine. Okay, nothing left on this both the machines. I mean both the tables. So source side steps are completed. Now we are going to delete any leftover files on the target machine. I'm already in dir.dat command, dir.dat location. In this we may find any files related to the trials. So I deleted those trial files. I'm going to check for dir chk folder, that is for checkpoint folder. So nothing left over here. So checkpoint file will be taken care, cleared by our replicate delete process itself. So I'm going to check parameter files. Parameter files will be there as usual. There won't be any change even if you drop the replicate or extract process, that you have to remember. So all the 4 steps are completed and we don't have any configuration except manager in my Golden Gate environment. On the target mission, just only manager is running. So just it's a matter of stopping, only no action is required for a manager. Okay, and I'm moving back to target mission, source mission. In the source mission, the steps are like, we need to find out if any initial load related configuration is left over there. So for that, info extract star comma tasks we need to give. Let me show you. Let me connect from beginning. Login user ID GG user password GG user successfully connected. Info all. See, if you see, currently we have only two processes running. One is extract process, another one is a pump process. But in fact, there is one more extract process has been configured on this machine, so which is not visible over here. So I'm showing you now how to get the information. Extract star comma task. We need to give tasks parameter so that we will come to know about the initial load related extract process information or replicate process information over here. So this is the extract process which has been configured for initial load. However, that is not reflected through info_all command. Okay, so delete this extract first. So before that, just let's check what about the checkpoint files information, etc. gg home drchk. Okay, there are checkpoint files are available. So when I drop these files, automatically this will be removed. Info extract tasks. So nothing is there. Earlier it was showing one extract file. Now it is showing nothing. Second one, now I'm going to delete the extracts which I configured it for chain synchronization. Info all delete. Before that, I need to stop it. The next step is stop the extracts. So let me Okay, so I'm going to stop those extract. Stop extract. I'm forced stopping because that was in middle of something, so I forcefully stopped the previous extract which was used for chain synchronization. So I'm dropping that using delete command. Delete pump process as well. So just I'm going to place Okay, only manager process is running, nothing else left over here. And we are going to see whether checkpoint file have been removed or not. So all files have been removed. We are going to check dir PRM files information whether it has been deleted or not. So nothing has been deleted. So so we removed the extract. This step we confirmed. I mean, stopped and then we deleted the extract files. And we need to delete any trial file information if it exists. So that we are going to dir dat folder. Okay, total 3 files are there. Just I'm dropping them as well. So nothing left over here. So this is about clearing the existing configuration. Okay, so my system is clean now, so nothing left over there. Initial, we have 14 records in the SCOT schema, and there is no information on the target machine, so it's good for initiating the change replication. That is the one thing. And second thing is that I cleared all the extract process and replicates as well as pump process which I have configured as a part of previous test. So the both the sets Golden Gate is in a vanilla state, so nothing is left over there. So we can start with that. So before going ahead with our change replication, let me explain you what exactly today I'm going to do on a paper. Okay. So last time we discussed that there are two ways to replicate the data from source to target. One is chain synchronization. Another one is initial load. Okay. Chain synchronization we are going to perform in two ways. One is without data pump. Another one is with pump. Okay, so with the initial load, chain synchronization used for synchronizing the existing current data. So whatever transactions happening, we are going to synchronize the data using chain synchronization method. Initial load is for using, this method is used for synchronizing existing data. Existing data means the one already present in the database. So in order to perform initial load, we have two methods. One is Oracle methods. Another one is Golden Gate methods. So last week we discussed about, in Oracle we have three methods. One is ORMAN, another one is import or export. Import, export. Third one is TTS, transportable table space. So last week we have seen import method. In Golden Gate also we have total 4 methods. So out of that, file to replicate, and direct load method, direct bulk load, something are there, another 2 methods. So last week we discussed about the direct load method and in initial load method. So today we are going to use file to replicate method. So today what we are planning to do is initial load with file to replicate method. And chain synchronization with the pump process we are going to discuss. So these are the 2 methods which we are going to use today, and we will perform the replication. Okay, so before going ahead with the initial load, let me explain you how it is happening. This is the source machine, this is the target machine. Okay, so earlier we configured one extract over here, we configured one replicate over here. So directly extract was giving data directly to replicate. So this is the one method. This we call it as a direct load method. So what happening, extract is directly taking the data from the source table and it is pushing to replicate, and replicate directly replicating to the target machine. So this is a direct method. So in file to replicate method, what happens is that this extract places into load file, we can say, which will be located in the target machine. Okay, so what happens is that instead of taking the instead of giving the data to the replicate process, it places the transaction information into the load file, which is located in the target machine, and the replicate process in the target machine reads the information from the load file and it applies to the target machine. Apart from that, rest everything is same with comparison to direct load method. So that is only the difference which we are going, which is going to happen in this file to replicate process. Okay, and coming to the data pump, chain synchronization with the pump is, earlier we configured one extract over here. So it used to read from the transaction logs, redo logs. Okay, so extract reads the redo log files from here and it pushes the data directly to target machine. Target machine collector will be there. Collector will place them into trial files and replicate process will be available over here. And replicate, what it does is it reads the trial files and it applies to the target machine. This was the configuration which we discussed earlier, that is without pump configuration. So today we are going to configure chain synchronization with a pump. So what happens is that in that with the pump, extract file, instead of sending the data to the target machine, it places them into the trail files. Okay, that will be called as a local trails. So I'm going to use the abbreviation as a LT. Here we are going to configure one data pump. So this data pump reads this local trails and it pushes to collector process located on the target machine. So this is going to happen. So this is the method which we are going to use today. So as a part of this process, so my configuration will be, first I am going to configure the chain synchronization. So in order to perform the, in order to extract the current transactions, whatever happening, that is the one thing. And the second step is I am going to configure the initial load once chain synchronization has been configured. As a part of chain synchronization, what I am going to do is I am going to configure the extract process on the source machine. So after that, I am going to configure local tries. Okay, and third one is I am going to configure the pump process. Fourth one, I am going to configure remote tries. Because pump, what is the output of the pump? Output of the pump is remote tries. Means like it has to connect with the it has to place the files into the remote location. So its input is from local tries. So then after that we are going to configure the replicate over here. And then start extract. So what happens is with this configuration, whatever the current transactions happening on my database, that will be captured. Okay, and once this is done, this configuration is done, then I'm going to configure the initial load with file to replicate method. In this step, I'm going to configure extract process on the source machine and replicate at target machine. Okay, so these are the two steps which I'm going to perform in the initial load. So in the extract process, process as well as replicate process in the initial load will be done only once. Once it is done, then there is no use of those processes. Just we can drop those processes because that will synchronize existing data which will be done only once. Okay, so these are the steps which I'm going to show you one by one. Okay, and I prepared the entire notes also for this. I did before, just to make it everything clear and to reduce the time. So just I prepared everything. So I'm going to follow these steps, and I will be sharing this document also to you once it is completed. So this is oh, not able to see. Okay. Okay, so this is unidirectional data pump file to replicate method. Okay, and have the document also for that. Okay, so these are the steps I'm going to follow. Let me go through the same notepad. So this is exact replica whatever is required, whatever I explained to you so far. So the same replica has been done. I mean the same steps have been done on this. So I'm going to do one by one. So as a part of change synchronization, my first step is I need to configure the extract in the local machine. So extract naming, what I'm going to do is ext extract. Ext is for stands for extract, and source machine is ind. Us is the target mission. This is for the change synchronization extract, and I need to configure the pump. Pump abbreviation I'm going to use as a PMP, and source mission is ind. Target is US, and remote mission. I mean replication. Replicate process abbreviation is REP, replicate. IND is the source and target is the US. So this is the one, and the next one is local trials. I'm going to use it as a LT, and remote trials I'm going to put it as RT. RT stands for remote trial files. So these are the file names which I'm going to use as a convention. So the first step is I need to configure the replicate process, sorry, extract process in the source machine. Okay, let me explain you what exactly the command. So this, already last week we discussed about it. It's add extract, extract name, and tran log is the keyword which we are going to specify for to specify that our extract has to read from the transaction logs. In Oracle, the transaction logs are nothing but online redo log files, and it has to begin now. Okay, so I'm going to execute this command. So this is my mission, and no processes are running except manager. So I added extract info all database. I mean extract is running. Okay, so that is the first step. And the second step in my process is that I need to add local trials. Sorry, for that extract I need to add the parameters also. Let me add the parameters. So let me discuss about these parameters once. So you might have seen all these parameters last week itself. There are no changes into that. First line specifies the parameter file is for so-and-so extract, that is ext ind us extract extract process. And first next three lines represents the environment, that is a standard across all our source side configuration files. The next one is username and password, and ext trial where it has to write this extract, where it has to write, that specifies this ext trial. Here I am specifying local extract name as LT. In the previous week we haven't specified like this. We specified the remote machine name and password and remote trial location information over here. So now in this configuration I am going to specify the local file name. So when I specify this one, it is going to write the local trials here itself. Okay, so this I am going to add into my parameter file. Since I already configured some time back, the parameter file already exists even if I delete, even though I deleted the extract process. Let me show you. View params extindus. Okay, so already configuration parameters already exist. The same thing whatever I shown you over here. This is the main change. Rest everything will be the same. And now I'm going to configure replication for two tables. One is the DEPT, another one is EMP. I'm configuring two tables because employee table is a child table to the DEPT table, because it has a foreign key relationship with the DEPT table. So in Golden Gate replication configurations, if you are configuring any table, and we need to include its parent table also, irrespective of your whether changes are happening in the DEPT table or not. So that is the one condition, and second condition is that all the table clauses should be ended with semicolon. In the similar way, map command in the replicate process also we need to end with the semicolon symbol at the end. And second point we need to know is that either we can specify schema name completely with a wildcard, or we need to specify all the table information in the extract as well as repo. replicate process. So that is one more point which we need to remember. So no, all the parameters already exist. So just I'm moving ahead with the next step. Now, as a part of this, extract is completed in change synchronization. The second one is the local trials I'm adding. Okay, in this, just only the command we are going to use it. This is the command which specifies add extract, and extract name is ext trial, and trial file location. Trial file location is DR, that is the location, and the trial file name format is LT. LT represents for local trials, and we are linking with the previously created extract. So we already have an extract process, and we are linking this extract process with the trial files, whatever we are going to create now. So here, this information also we need to see that whatever the trial files we have configured already. Otherwise, it will give an error. So in order to check that one, what we are going to do is that info ext trial star trial, info star, not this one, ext trial, what I did, only one single trial star trial. Say suppose if I give this one, this gives nothing, no information. So what I'm going to do is just I'm going to add a command to add the trial files. Add ext trial dot dir dat slash lt. Lt is for local trials, and I'm going to specify the extract. Why I'm doing that one? I need to link with current extract, which is going to write the local extract. So local extract, local trail has been added. In order to check info ext trail star trail command. So I added just now. This is the one, and its extract process is this one, and its size is this one, and this is the information about the sequence numbers. So we completed the extract process over here. So that is completed. Local trial has been configured. The next step is that we need to configure the pump process. Pump is also similar to extract process. Only the thing is that over here it is going to read the local trial files instead of reading the read log files in the database. So and it pushes to the target machine. So we need to configure the pump also similar to the extract with the slight variations in the command. So adding the pump is so from where this pump process reads the files, it is going to read the local extract. Where we created the local extract, this is the place where we created the local extract. So what we need to do is just we need to create a one pump process, and we have to specify or we need to link its trail files. So how we are going to do? So we configured, we are going to add one pump process using add extract and data pump name. The data pump name is PMP is a pump, IND is India to US. Okay, so this is the pump process, and from where it is going to read, it is going to read ext trial source, and we need to specify the local trial location along with its file format. So it reads from this location, and where we have to push it to other machine that is located in US. So that information we are going to pass it into the trial file location, parameter file of the data pump. So let me show you how we are going to do. Before that, let me add this pump. So all this configuration I am doing in a source machine only. Add extract name, IMP, IND, US, extract trial source, this one. So if I see, I'm able to see the pump process, whereas initial load related pump extract and replicate we cannot see from info all command. Okay, so pump has been configured. Now I'm going to configure the parameters for the data pump. Why we have to configure the parameters for the data pump? Because it has to collect information from local trials, and it has to push to remote trial. So that information we have to configure. We already specified about the local trial location for data pump. That is one end is completed. The second end information we have to specify in the target file, parameter file. So in order to configure, in order to check the parameter file, view params PMP IND US. Okay, since I already have the pump process earlier, you may get the parameter information. Okay, so this is the information. I will explain you each one now. Okay, so the first command is to specify for which pump process we are configuring this configuration information, and the second one is user ID password we are going to specify. Third one is a pass-through. I am going to explain what exactly the pass-through, no pass-through. There are two conditions are there. Let me explain you that one. And the next one is RMT host as well as RMT tile. You might have seen last time when we are configuring the chain synchronization without pump also. But earlier we specified this file directly in the extract process. Now we are specifying the data pump because data pump is sending the files now instead of extract. But whereas in the last week we configured direct extract, chain synchronization without pump. During the time, extract send this information to the remote, to the remote location. So we haven't specified the pump during the time. Okay, and the next one is tables, which are the tables which we are going to consider. Here, I haven't mentioned one point, anything about the pass-through. Basically, what happens is that pass-through or no pass-through, this is a very important concept. Pass-through or no pass-through, this clause which we are going to use is basically for filtering the data. Say, for example, if you want to send some particular set of data only instead of all the information, so that we can control using pass-through or no pass-through information. Whether it has to push all the information to the target, or it has to do some transformation on the data, or whether it has to filter some data, etc. that we are going to specify. For time being, for current session, we are assuming that we are going to do pass-through, means no changes will be applied to the data. So whatever the data it is seeing, just we will send as it is. So no pass-through, we are going to specify pass-through means whatever it gets, it has to push, it has to pass it, no changes are required. Okay, so that is the one, that's the point. Later, we are going to, I am going to show one example also using pass-through for timing. Just assume it only pass-through. Okay, let me take one. Okay. Next one is parameters I am going to show you. Pump I need to configure in the source machine only. Edit params PMP IND US. So if you see all the parameters, whatever I specified over there, so those are reflecting over here. If you see one important point over here is that remote trial file, I mentioned it is a RT. Okay, that is one important point. And second point is that we are not specifying any database configuration over here. Okay. Just generally what it does is it directly connects to the local trial files. Generally it will not connect to the database. So the environment details we haven't specified. Okay, so that is one more observation we need to do. Okay, now, so pump has been configured. So pump we specified the parameters also. One new parameter is the pass-through is the parameter, and the second parameter, important parameter, is that where it has to push the data. So for that we specified the remote host name as well as remote port name as well as trial file information. So it is going to push it. And second one is pass-through means we are instructing pump to pass over whatever information you are getting from, pass over the information whatever it is getting from the local trial file. So no modifications, no alterations will be done as by data pump process. Okay, so next one is remote trial file. Remote trial file means that is the endpoint for our data pump. So remote file we added last time also, but during that time what we did with respect to the extract. We linked with the extract. Now we are linking with the data pump. That is only the difference. Okay, so in order to add the remote trial, what we are going to do is we are going to use this command, add RMT trial, remote trial, and its location from where it is, it is going to write, and which process is going to write. So we are linking the data pump process with remote trial. So what happens? It will understand internally that this pump is going to write on so-and-so location. And as I mentioned earlier, in order to see the trail file information, we will use info RMT trail star comma trail. Even trail file information, we are able to see only local trail file information, not the remote trail file information. So once we add the remote trail also, we will be able to see that information, RMT trail and remote trail dot dir dat slash RT, that is representing for remote trail, comma, from where it has to, from this extract. PMP INDUS. Okay, remote trail has been added. So this one you can say extract trail or remote trail, that is not a problem. RMT trail star trail. So I could able to see now two trail files over here. Okay, the first one is representing for local trail LT. First point you need to note, and this point has been linked with extract process, that is EXT-INDUS parameter. And sorry, this is the process. And the second extract trail file is, this is the remote trail file, and it has been linked with the PMP process. PMP INDUS. This is the pump process. It has to pump the data from local to remote. So that will be done by our data pump over here. And for the data pump, we configured a source as well as target information over here. So remote trail has been added. Okay, now all the configuration is done on the source machine. We can start the extract over here also, or we can add, we can start the extract at the end also. That doesn't make any difference. That has to be done based on your business scenario. Okay, either you can start it now or we can start at the end. Okay, just before starting the initial load, but it has to be done at any cost before we start the initial load, so that whatever the transactions going to happen in the source machine, that will be captured by our extract process, and again extract process will put it into local drives, and a data pump will read on those files. Okay, now I'm not going to start at this moment. Let me configure the other steps also, then I will configure it. So my next step is pump has been configured, remote trail has been configured. Now I'm going to configure the replicate process. So what exactly the replicate is doing? Replicate is going to take the files from the remote trail file that has been configured earlier to the pump, and we are going to start the replicate process. So automatically it will apply to the target machine. Let me take 1 minute pause. Now I have to configure the replicate process in the target machine. So how I'm going to configure is, so yeah, before that I need to add the checkpoint also. Because why I'm doing the checkpoint table in the target machine only is, checkpoint information will be stored in the two locations for can be stored in the two locations. One is checkpoint file, which is at OS location, and second one is at database location. Just keeping the data checkpoint information in the database is nothing but replicating the information. So for that purpose we are using it. So in the target mission, the blue color screen, we have only manager running over here. So I'm going to check info checkpoint table. So it is clearly saying that no checkpoint table has been specified. We have already the global specific global file has been already configured. In that we specified this is the file information, but we haven't started. So add checkpoint table. Okay, so checkpoint table has been created, and we are going to cross check whether it has been created or not. Okay, so checkpoint table has been created. Next one is in our steps, we discussed that we are going to add a replicate in the target mission. So okay, so this is the command which we are going to use for adding the replicate. In this add replicate name, that is REPINDUS, and we are linking with extract file from like a trail file from where this replicate has to read. Where it is going to read, this is the file name, this is the location where the trial files will be located. So RT represents remote trial files. Okay. So I'm going to add this information, I'm going to add this over here. So before that I'm going to check whatever the process is running. So nothing is running, and I'm going to add it. Okay, replicate has been added. So I'm going to check the parameters for this process. Since I already have configured earlier and I just deleted it, so parameter file will be available over here. It's already exists. Just I'm going to discuss on all the points. First line is indicating replicate name, and the next one is environment details. So I'm replicating to ESDB, so I mentioned it as a ESDB, and environment variables like that, like NLS underscore lang parameter I specified it, user ID and password. This is the one important one which you need to understand. Discard file, where it has to discard. So I created one folder called a discard folder. In that I'm creating one file called rep underscore discard underscore. This process name we are mentioning it over here, but it's not compulsory. You need to maintain the same convention. You can use it whatever the way best suits to you as well as your organization standards. So why I'm using over here is that because you could have more, you can have more than one replicate in the target mission. So for each replicate, I'm specifying separate discard file so that it becomes easy for us to manage. Okay, and the next one is append mode, means whatever the current file is there, we are going to add the data to that, and it's the maximum size, so that once it reaches this limit, it is going to create a new file. Okay, with the 01, 02 like that. Okay, this is about the discard. Handle collisions, I'm going to explain you when we come to the particular situation. I'm not going to explain immediately, but down the line today itself I will explain. Assume targets means we are specifying that the source as well as target tables definitions are exact same, so no changes are there. And next one is the standard one, like map column, which table to which table mapping over here. This is standard. So I hope everybody is clear up to this point. So now I'm adding. It's already parameters are already available, so no actions are required. Next step is add the parameters. This is done. Okay, so as a part of our chain synchronization, okay, so we configure the extract, we configure the local trails, and then we configure the pump process, and then we configure the remote trial, then we configure the replicate process. So everything has been configured as a part of chain synchronization. So whatever the transactions currently going to happen on the source missions, that will be captured by our local process, and after that at specified intervals the data pump keeps pushing to the target machine, and the target machine's replicate will keep applying to the target machine. Okay, so now I need to start the extract process. EXTINDUS. So this is the process, this is the extract process which we configured for chain synchronization. Okay, IXTINDUS. So I'm going to start in my source machine. So before going to the source machine, just let me show you. So trail file doesn't exist. Trail file doesn't exist. That location. Just it's an empty. The moment I start, immediately it is going to create one trail file. Where it is going to create the trail file, we configure to dir.dat/lt. So it is going to configure it over there. Okay. Suppose if you see info all, so it will be in a running state. So I haven't started the pump process. Just only extract has been started. Okay. And if I see the location over here, the file will be created. So this is the local file. So source chain synchronization related steps are completed now. So now I am going to move ahead with initial load with file to replicate. In the file to replicate, extract process will create one load file in the remote location. So replicate on the remote machine. What it does is that it is going to take the information from source that load file, and it is going to apply to the remote remote database. Okay, now I need to configure the initial load related initial load for initial load related configuration. What I discussed earlier, I need to configure the extract at source, I need to configure the replicate, and one more step over here is that I need to start the extract process as well as replicate. Okay, so I haven't mentioned over here. Start extract. Okay, now let me configure the extract at source location. So for configuring the source for initial load related extract, it will be the similar way how we are going to configure for extract for chain synchronization, just with a few changes. Okay. Okay. So please note that this extract is not the chain synchronization extract, and this extract we are going to configure only once during the initial load time. Once it is done, the job of the purpose of this extract will be done, so it is not required. Okay, hence this will not be reflected in a general section with the info all command. Info all command will not show that. Okay, so from where we are going to see about this information is, this is the command which we are going to use it for. Info extract star comma. This is a special task. Info extract star comma task. So no task has been configured. We can say that extract is not been configured. So I'm going to configure the extract. So as I mentioned last time, we are going to add the extract, but the source information earlier I mentioned it as a tran log over here. But here earlier Earlier, when we are configuring the change synchronization, I mentioned extract name. Here, I mentioned it as a translog file. But now, I'm not going to read it from the translog, but I'm going to read it from the table. So, I'm mentioning source is the table. Okay, so this is the difference. After that, begin now clause will not be available over here because this is going to be done only once. Okay, so this is the main difference over here. So, I'm going to add this. And the second one is the naming convention also. Let me explain you. You can do whatever the way you want, but my preference is extract used for initial load, EIL. I'm using this convention. So the throughout our discussion, I'm going to use the same standard, so it will be easy for you. IND, that is in India to US. Okay, so this is the naming convention. I used it. Now I'm adding that extract information, extract over here. So extract has been added. Suppose if I give info all, I will not get that information. I added, but still it is not showing. It is showing the information as it is, the way how it was earlier. Okay, now how to get the information about this extract? That is info extract star tasks. If you see, that information is available over here. So this is the extract name, okay, and initiated and when, and it has been in a stopper state, and now the records bound is 0, okay, and the task is source is the table. Suppose you can give it like this also. Suppose if you know the name, directly you can give, otherwise just you can use this method. Okay, so the extract has been configured, but we need to specify the parameters for this table also. So how we are going to do the same way? Params IXT initial load extract. Okay, so this parameters already has been configured, but I'm going to explain you each and everything over here. So I'm specifying the extract name. Extract name, username is so-and-so, GG user, RMT host, which host it has to push the data, file, so this is the host and file. This is the important RMT file, dir dat, INIT, this one also you can specify the way how you want, data dat and megabytes is so-and-so. This file you can specify any name, so there is no specific rule. Just for easiness, I am specifying like INIT load underscore the extract name, whichever it is going to create, EL IND US dot dat. You can put some TXT or something, whatever it may be, and which tables it has to extract. Sources table I mentioned, so we have to mention DEPD as well as IMP. Okay, whereas in our regular extract, what I specified over there. Just for your better understanding, I am putting both the parameters over here to avoid confusion. So here I specified the extract file because we are using pump. Otherwise, we are going to specify the remote file, and this remote file, this clause will come over here actually. If we don't have, pump configuration over here, since we are copying creating the trial files locally. So I specified this clause. Otherwise, we are going to specify similar to this clause over here. Okay, rest everything is same in the initial extract. Okay, so I already configured it. Let me correct it. Edit params. Okay, source has been configured. Now, source has been configured and parameters have been added. Now the next step is I'm going to add the remote target, replicate process in the target machine. For adding that, this is the command which we are going to use. I'm going to explain. Add is the add replicate and the replicate name. The same convention, RIL, replicate, initial load, IND US, okay? And from where that file, what is the source for this replicate? The source is extract file, and this is the file name. So earlier I specified the same thing, the same one over here also. Okay, here I configured it as a remote file for the extract which is located in the source machine, and this file is a remote file for that. So that is the reason RMD file I created over there. And for this replicate, this file is local file, so I created as a ext file. Okay, and if you compare the same thing over here also, see here for extract, initial load, change synchronization extract, we configured it as this one extract file, and for initial load extract, I configured the remote file as a RMT file. Since this replicate is reading from the local file, we specified it as an ext file. Just try to observe the naming conventions, the keywords which I am using over here. Okay, so and then I'm specifying the from which file it has to read it. And here actually, just for your information, add replicate RILIND US special run, we used it earlier, but from this version onwards, I mean from 11 to 04 onwards, I think onwards, GZ is not accepting. I mean the special run keyword has been deprecated, so we cannot use it with this replicate. So for that reason, we are specifying directly the file name over here. So no need to specify special run. Whereas in previous case, direct load method, we used the special run, but for this file to replicate method, we cannot use a special run keyword over here. Okay, for that reason, I'm specifying the ext file name directly. Okay, since the difference over here is that here we can able to see directly, the replicate process information once we added it. So replication has been added, replicate has been added, info all. So you are able to see it over here. Whereas in previous case, in direct load method, we were not able to see this replicate process over here because we specified it as a special run. But here we are able to see it. So that is one more difference you may need to observe it. Okay, and the next one is we have to specify the parameters for this replicate process. Since I already have parameters, so you will get the output over here. I mean the parameters over here. I think here I haven't mentioned handle collisions. Let me here. Okay, that one we are going to specify and replicate. Okay. So no changes required. So all the parameters are available. Let me explain you. Replicate name and environment details and username, assume target definitions and map column. So no difference for this. Only the difference is that we are specifying the extract file name. That is only the difference over here. Rest everything will be the same. Okay, so we completed the configuration for replicate also. The next step is we need to start the initial load related configuration. That is, what is that? start the extract as well as start the replicate. In order to start extract or replicate, we can do normal way how we used to do in the regular process. See, if you see here, we are not able to see that extract information, so I need to give. So this is the name, start extract. So extract has been started. So it has captured 14 records. So we need to see the log file also. I mean data file. So this is the source mission. Sorry, this is the source mission. So the local trail file will be created in the remote mission. So remote mission I connected over here. Here that file. So December 26 something, somehow it is showing old date, and this has been configured just now. Okay, so this contain all the 14 rows information and everything, whatever the data available in my file. Now extract has been configured. So what it does, it captured the data from the source information and it placed into remote file, remote trail file. Not trail file, it's a load file we will say, because it will be used for initial load. And now I need to start the replicate process on the target. Info all, so nothing has been running. So we have two replicates. Which one I have to start? I have one REP IND US. This is used for chain synchronization. This is being used for initial replication. So I need to start this one. So before that, I am going to check information also in info replicate. Okay, so this is in a stopped position. Start replicate. So it is starting. It has been started. If you see this RBI information here and here, both are getting changed over here. Okay, I don't know why it is taking some time. Yeah, it already reached in the target mission. Earlier, some time back, we already deleted that entire data from the source mission. So this was the 0, and employee table also contains 0. So let me check. DEPT. So it has 14 records. So now initial load has been configured, completed using file to replicate. In this file to replicate, we created one file and data has been pumped using initial load method using file to replicate. Now, what about the current transactions? So current transactions also, let's check it so that that will be completed. So this is my source mission. So if you see, the file has been created at 129. So when I add some data, it should reflect over here. Yeah, before that I need to, I'm not sure whether I mentioned it or not. Initial load, if you now start the synchronization, insert the data. Sure. Extract, pump, comma, replicate. These three I need to start it. Info all. So extract is running, there is no issue. But pump also we need to start, because why we need to start pump? It has to ship the local drive files to remote location. So I started it, info all. So both are running. Now we'll start the replicate also. So this job is over. So you can stop it also. This is not required because its purpose is completed for us. Okay. And we need to start the local, replicate process, which is being used for chain synchronization. Start replicate. Info running. It is in a running state. So now I'm going to do the transactions in the source database, and the transaction should reflect in the target machine. So if I see the target, local trial file timestamp, that was at 1:30 as per the system time. So I'm going to add a few records in the target source machine. The command for that. Okay. So I'm going to add two records over here. So let's see. So committed. So I'm going to see the file has been changed. Earlier it was 129. So means the transactions whatever we have done, that has been captured into this local trial file by local extract file. Now pump will pump this file to remote machine. So suppose if you see, earlier this was there was only initial load file. Now it has been created. Pump has created one file called RT 6x0. Okay. Now I'm going to check in the database also. How many records were there earlier in employee? 14 records were there. Now it should reflect 15 records. So it is reflecting. The next one I'm going to show you delete command. Let me try with update employee GG test where job is now. Okay, set I need to go there. Set okay, if I see that lines 120, select start from EMP. See, the employee number GG test has been reflected. Now the third test which we are going to do is dropping the record. Delete employee where job is null. Commit. So one record will be deleted, the one which I added now. So 14 record. So we covered now chain synchronization with data pump process. Chain synchronization with the data pump we covered, and we covered initial load with we covered initial load with file to replicate. Okay, so these are the methods which I was targeting to cover for this unidirectional ones. So next week, if time permits, I will try to cover bidirectional replication, and in the next session, so that you will get a better idea on the replication. So one more concept I supposed to cover over here is that collisions concept also I need to cover. I will try to cover that concept also in the next week. So this is what I planned it today. So I'm stopping the recording now. So and Narasimha will share with you.